Tenitzu here, and today we'll be getting into part 1 of the new series, what if Naruto was related to Madara. And if you want a part 2, you'll have to hit 20 likes, but for now, let's just get straight into part 1. This story starts a while in the past. The climatic and almost unimaginably important battle of Hashirama and Madara had just taken place, and Madara laid in the water with his seemingly dead body, as rain flew onto his skin. But suddenly the corpse, in quotation marks, moved. As Madara opened his eyes, as he made a single clone as he began walking off, clutching his stomach, which was still in a lot of pain. He vowed to himself that he'd never return to that damned ashram again. He'd save the world, just watch. As he walked, Madara traveled several villages, after combining his chakra with the chakra of Hashirama, trying to find a suitable vessel, which he finally found, when he found Uzumaki with quite an amazing pool of chakra, who he began to seduce with great success, although there was a problem. Not only had he got her to catch feelings for him, he had also begun catching feelings for the kind-hearted woman. As more and more time passed, Madara was accepting that perhaps the life of a family could be what he had always wanted. He felt happy and could finally get past the hatred he had for Hashirama. One day, Madara decided that he'd finally make up with his old friend as he packed up his bag as he carried a child? In his hands was a baby with pure black hair and black eyes, which laughed as Madara walked, making faces at the baby as they headed toward the leaf village until boom! Madara turned around as the child in his arms suddenly began to cry because of the loud noise. Shh, come on now, Izuna. That's gonna check what that noise was, okay? Madara told the young child, smiling, as suddenly Madara's eyes turned blood red with a blue ribcage engulfing the two and the child, which is of course named after Madara's late brother, was fixated on the blue ribcage as Madara began running toward the village with horror in his eyes as he saw smoke and fire. Arriving back to the village, he stood in front of his house, which had collapsed in on itself. Madara clutched the rubble, throwing it into the air as enemy ninja behind him tried to attack him, but all of their attacks were repelled by Madara's Susanoo. But Madara could not care less, as he was met by the sight of a hand, which was clutching some red hair, but the rest of the body was nowhere near. Walking toward a more safe place, Madara put his child down, casting a jutsu which would protect him from all of the harm that the enemy ninja could even think about doing, as Madara looked toward the ninja, which was shaking in fear as they saw his eyes. You killed her. You killed my wife, Madara said in a cold tone as he blitzed toward the ninjas, as he began torturing them senselessly, beating them half to death, until slowly killing them with a fire jutsu, to cause as much pain as possible. He wanted to cause them as much pain as his wife. But Madara just didn't care anymore, as he just picked up his son and put him in a small forest, telling him, You'll have to live on your own now, Izuna. I've given you all you need for now, but Dad's got something important to do now, okay? Izuna nodded, although he was teary-eyed, as he waved at his dad, telling him, See you soon, but Madara just clenched his fist as he gave him a small wave as well. Yeah, and disappeared. Izuna's life from there was mainly surviving off of wild fruit and animals. The boy had an immense amount of potential and intelligence, so he was quickly able to adapt to this forest. But little did he know, he was being watched. Two ninja walked out with the Leaf Police uniforms, asking the young boy, Why are you outside the village, boy? Come on, we'll take you back to your parents. And they picked him up, as Izuna suddenly began crying as he wanted to stay there. His dad hadn't denied ever coming back to this place again, so he was hopeful that his father could come back one day. The two police officers brought the young Uchiha back to the village, but no one seemed to claim him as their own, so one of the Uchiha volunteered. I can take him. Me and wife are unable to bear the child after all, so I don't mind. The police officers nodded as they told Izuna all about it, but inside he knew he could never accept that man as his father. His true father will forever be the kind-hearted Madara Uchiha. As Izuna lived his life in the village, he heard many stories about Madara, which angered him, such as the tale of him gaining the eternal Mangekyou Sharingan, or how he betrayed the Uchiha. His father would never do such things. When Izuna got into the academy, he was quickly met by the sight of a beautiful redhead named Kishino Uzumaki, who he fell for the moment they met eyes, and made friends quite quickly, such as Minato Namikaze and many more. One day, some time after they had graduated from being genin, he noticed she wasn't at practice, as they had been in the same team, so he looked for her only to find her missing, but due to noticing her red hair on the ground, he was able to follow it and save her, hereby getting her love, which continued on to their adulthood, which was when they married. Izuna had quite a happy life, with him becoming a high-rank jonin with his wife, but he was truly a menace on the battlefield. He gave the name Uchiha all the honor, as he killed a good chunk more people than even Minato, completely carrying the leaf on his back alongside him. They both even used similar jutsu, with their speed being unparalleled, as they both had perfected the flying Raijin. Everything was happy in his life, until the Ninetales attacked, which ended his wife's life and made him just want to give up. But seeing the damage that the Ninetales was doing, he finally got it together, helping Minato stop the Ninetales from causing any more damage than sealing it into his own son, although sacrificing his life, in the end, to save Minato and his son. Naruto, from it all, telling Minato, son, Naruto, from it all, telling Minato to take his eyes and implant them into Naruto when he was ready. We skip ahead several years to a young boy in a red jacket. This boy was of the name Naruto Uchiha, and his life was absolute hell from the moment he had been born. Having been born in Uchiha in the Leaf was already a disadvantage, as people were quite prejudiced against him. But this boy was undeniably the son of Izuna, thereby also the Ninetales Shinshoiki. But he did have one thing he loved in his life, being his adoptive father, Minato Namikaze. As you see, Minato felt incredibly guilty for this young boy's father to have died with him living, so he decided to adopt him as a favor to his dead friend. Even if Naruto's home life was nice, each time he went outside he was spat at with insults and more, but Minato couldn't deal with it, as him being the Hokage he was always busy with something. The only thing he really could prevent were beatings. That's why the people only spouted insults at him, but never laid as much as a finger on him, most of the times. These insults would obviously stop if they acknowledged that Minato was his adoptive father, but if that knowledge was spread, Naruto would instantly get kidnapped by an enemy ninja as bait for Minato, so this would of course stay a secret for now. But at least at home, he had someone to go to. In the academy, Naruto excelled far beyond anyone before him, as not only was his potential far beyond anything ever seen, but he was also sometimes trained by none other than the fourth Hokage, of course. But even if Minato had no time to train him, Naruto trained until he passed out, perfecting his skills very early. His skill was already at that of a chunin the moment he entered the academy, with most teachers in the academy having already fallen behind this young boy. This young boy's nickname had spread around quite quickly, which was the new coming of Madara, or the Demon Uchiha of the Leaf, and that nickname shall be made all the honor, with Naruto reaching the rank of Genin at 6 years old, the youngest Genin ever, quite quickly. His team consisted of not just him, but also another person we know quite well. Sasuke? Sasuke, seeing how far Naruto surpassed him, trained harder than ever, even training with the likes of Kakashi, Minato, and his older brother Itachi as well, although still falling behind Naruto. This training had made a significant dent in this, although Sasuke had already turned 7 by the time, still surpassing his brother, but only slightly, by a few months at most, and the other person in this group was a 12-year-old Hyuga girl, who you guys can name in the comments below. As they sat in their room, the 12-year-old Higa girl was quite jealous of these two boys. They were so young, had already become genin? This was unfair. Really unfair, but her thoughts were interrupted, as a young man around the age of 21 walked in, who would also be very familiar to the two boys, as he had grey hair, with a mask covering half of his face, although his red Sharingan had yet to be covered. Kakashi! Naruto and Sasuke's voices were filled with happiness, as they ran toward him, with them each having a personalized handshake with him. I didn't think you'd be our sensei, Naruto said. Yeah, Sasuke said with a big smile, with Kakashi smiling back. Shh, don't be so loud. Come on, let's go to the roof. The team quickly jumped toward the roof as they began introducing themselves, like in the original, although some things did change. Sasuke. Sasuke's introduction changed quite massively alongside his personality, as instead of the Uchiha massacre happening, Minato was able to stop everything that had happened in the original, as he knew that the Uchiha had battled the Nine Tails, and he also had met the man who was responsible for it, who he himself called Madara, especially Izuna, and he wasn't going to let the clan that his best friend belonged to be slaughtered. I am Sasuke Uchiha. My likes are training, my big brother, and onigiri. My dislikes are anything sweet, weakness, and someone. He looked at Naruto with distaste in his eyes, alongside the Hyuga girl, who clearly disliked Naruto as well. My future goals are to become the strongest Uchiha to have ever lived. Kakashi was disappointed at their resentment for Naruto, but just sighed as the girl introduced herself with the name you guys will choose. My name is, insert the name, my likes are sweets, ninja tools, and taijutsu. My dislikes are summon, she said looking at Naruto, spicy food, and genjutsu. My future goal is to become the head of the Hyuga clan. This is quite an interesting goal, as she was from the side branch. Naruto's introduction was the same as in the original, the only different thing being his name, now being Naruto Uchiha. As Kakashi listened, he nodded, as he said, "Alright, meet me at the training grounds tomorrow, 7 a.m." He said, then disappeared, with Naruto smiling widely. His ninja journey had finally begun. Now I hope you'll enjoyed this part. If you did, be sure to smash that like button and subscribe. But without further ado, this was Tenitzu, and I am out.